a research fellow in the Emerging Technologies Research Lab at Monash University. I'm an anthropologist, and my interests are broadly in the ways in which people plan, imagine, and speculate about their futures. Both the hopes that they have about the future, as well as some of their anxieties. As an anthropologist, my main research method is ethnography. And what sets ethnography apart from other research methods is that we're really focused on the context in which people live. Right? We take the context of people's everyday lives as really central to the research process. And because of this real focus on context, ethnography has a tendency to be very focused on the present. Even when we write about a previous encounter that we had with research participants, we often recreate what we call the ethnographic present. Right? We write about this encounter as if it's happening right now, because we want to try to recreate that sense of the contextual setting in which the research was being done and portray that to our readers. But as I said, I'm interested in the future. So how can I study the future in context? How can I study the future ethnographically? So I'm going to be telling you very briefly about a research method that I've developed with some colleagues that helps us to study the future ethnographically. And we do this through the use of comic strip scenarios. So first, I'm going to show you some video clips of our ethnographic research. I'll show you how, when we move through the home with many of our research participants, and we try to ask them about the future, they often really struggle to imagine the future and to kind of place themselves in the future, or to think about it being very different from the present. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about these comic strip scenarios and how we developed them, and show you some more clips about how, when we put these in front of our research participants, they kind of put themselves into that future and reflect on, you know, the benefits of it or the negatives of it, and we're able to access that future in a bit of an ethnographic way and sort of time travel there with our participants. So first, let me show you this video clip with one of our participants.
So you just look in the fridge and you know what you need. I mean, would you like your fridge to be able to order things for you and tell you what you needed in the future?
Probably not when there's just the two of us.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious when you open the door, or when we use butter, and if the butter's down. But often I'll buy, because there's a certain butter we like, and I've got a couple in the freezer, so then I'll top them up if they've gone, you know, so we don't run out of things. And milk, it's obvious, and
yeah.
So,
I mean, would you like any of these kind of chores to be done for you? You know, would you like a robot to help out with any of the cleaning?
I'm not fond of cleaning, but I can't imagine. Probably not. And in the future, when that might happen, more, I imagine I won't have as much to clean.
So as you can see, our participant kind of really struggled to imagine her future being very different from her present. She kind of knew about these technologies, that there's smart fridges and you could do your online shopping, but she just wasn't really that interested in it. She didn't really think this future held much for her, or it just didn't really resonate with her life. So let me tell you a little bit how we developed these comic strip scenarios before I show you how we use them with this same research participant. So we came up with 6 different comic strip scenarios, so I'll show you them as I'm talking. So we came up with these scenarios through a content analysis of 64 different industry reports. The reports mostly came from the energy sector and the technology sector and sort of consulting agencies to these sectors. And they all had various imaginations and speculations about the future. And we synthesized these key claims about the future that were in the reports and used them to inspire these 6 different comic strips that placed these ideas and speculations about the future into the space of the home. So this one is the aged care scenario. The reports had really bold predictions about the future of aged care. There was a strong narrative in the reports that because of the aging population and older people's desires to stay in their home as they age, that technology was going to need to play a bigger role in caring for people as they age. So then we used this scenario and put this in front of our research participant I showed you earlier and asked her about how she felt this scenario related to her life, or whether she liked this scenario. So let me show you a few clips now from that. Australia's population is aging. More people are wanting to stay in their homes. And so there's a lot of technology that's expected to help enable that future. So one is things like these wearable technologies you have here, and does this one monitor your heart?
It does, yeah.
So it could potentially, alert authorities or even alert you if something
I think that's
wrong.
great. Yeah, no, I think that, and even seeing a doctor, because sometimes it's just talking across the table.
You could put your virtual headset on and visit the doctor.
No, I think that's fantastic. Really, yeah.
Then what about, have you ever thought about setting your Siri to remind you to take your medication?
Well, probably it's not necessary at the moment, but golly, the patients we see and who are on warfarin, they have to take it every night. I miss taking it. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Oh. And I'll be probably taking more pills in the future.
So as you can see, she was very enthusiastic about this future scenario. Whereas before, when we were in the context of her home, asking her about the future, she just couldn't quite see its relevance to her life. But when this future was put in front of her, she kind of stepped into it a bit. And you can see her really thinking about her friends and the people she knows, and how this could have so many benefits for them, and even herself in the future as she ages. So I wanted to show these clips to really show you how these comic strip scenarios almost allowed us to kind of time travel with our participants into the future. So we could think with them about the context of the future for themselves in their own home that these comic strips portrayed it in. So thank you very much for listening to me and letting me share a little bit of our research method with you.